Hello, this is Holly Sanders, and thank you for joining me for this lead instructor training. This training is going to be fairly short, just a couple of videos. This one's going to be around 10 minutes to explain to you the responsibilities and the process of being a lead instructor for your department. And some of this training comes from a ATC training that was held in a previous semester. So if you hear any verbiage referring to course coordinator training, it is the same as lead instructor training. Miss Angelo had us change the name after the process started, but there's some good information in the video that I wanted to pull over. So just remember, if you hear course coordinator, it's the same as now what we call lead instructor. Enjoy the training.
This is going to be a short training just to ensure we all are familiar with the duties for keeping up with the master shells and making our courses as successful as possible and really doing it in a student-friendly way. First thing I want to say is if you are not aware of which master shell or shells you're going to be coordinating, then reach out to your program coordinator or dean because you have been nominated for this position. It's really a leadership position within your department, so you want to make sure that you speak to the other players in your department and figure out just what you're supposed to be doing. Also, any program coordinators or deans that are listening to this or watching this later, be sure that you reach out to your team members and let them know which classes they're going to be managing. The good news is that any class that you're assigned should be a course that you teach regularly. I like to think of them as courses, at least when I was teaching, they would be like the ones that would be my baby, like my favorite course, the one I'm always in, updating naturally. So this shouldn't come as extra work or an extra load. It should be within courses you're already managing. And really the goal for the entire college is that we want our courses touched more frequently. So if one department has 12 courses, one person can't manage all 12. So the goal is that those courses are split up between the members of the department that maybe know them the best, so they're touched more frequently. And you can see I have the captain picture up here because I want you to think of yourself as the team captain for this course. So that's going to require that you manage it, of course, but then you also communicate with the rest of the players within your department about any changes or anything they need to do to their individual CRNs. So here's just a short list of the responsibilities. It's not long, and like I said, you guys are already all-stars or you wouldn't have been chosen for this. So I'm sure you're doing it already. But again, it's just to manage your master shell. That includes any updates you need to do for each semester. It's going to put you in a role where you're able to add content from your CRNs over to the master. So a lot of you that are teaching the same class every semester, you have different instructional activities or maybe different assessment items. You'll move those to the masters so they're kept. And then you'll also want to reflect any changes in curriculum or industry standards. So just make sure the master shells are constantly updated and as current as they need to be. And to help you do this, you will complete the master shell readiness checklist. Many of you have seen it already, and we'll look at it here in just a minute. But it's basically designed just to cover the basics to get the shell ready to be copied to the CRNs. And then lastly, like I discussed a minute ago, just be sure to discuss any changes you make with the rest of the team. And really what you want to do is give the master shell, when it's copied over to the CRNs, make it as complete as possible for your instructors. And this really goes out to people who may have multiple sections, like in English 1101 class, it has 20 sections. That master, all 20 in different sections will get it, so it needs to be ready to go because we really want the instructors just to be able to pick it up and run with it instead of to add things within their individual CRNs. All right, to make sure that we are at the same starting point, I want to start at the very beginning and explain the difference between a master shell and a CRN shell. If you're looking at your screen, you can see right here that this has the term master in it, where the CRNs have individual CRN numbers. Why this is important is that master shells never go away. They never have students in them, so they just stay constantly every single semester. Whereas the individual CRNs do disappear or are archived the semester after they're taught. So the goal is to make the masters perfect or the best they can be so that each CRN will get all of that material. If any of you are managing a master shell and do not have access to it, be sure to reach out to me immediately so I can grant you access to the master so you can start working in it. The next thing I want to show you is within your faculty learning community, and all of you have a faculty learning community under your organizations. We created a course coordinator training, which is a really short thing. It's just, again, to make sure we're on the same page. I know some of you have been here for years, and I know a couple course coordinators that were recently hired. So this is just to make sure we are on the same page. So if you go to lessons and enter the course coordinator training, if you move through, you're going to experience videos. And many of you have seen on-campus trainings on this or have already viewed these videos. If you're one of the people that, for instance, came to a Atlanta Tech Blackboard navigation training, don't feel like you have to watch it. This is really to make sure that everyone who's coordinating courses are coming from the same starting point. So if you've already seen any of these, you're welcome to move on, welcome to review, whichever you feel, but these are here to make sure everyone is aware of this information. So the 3 videos are the navigation, which is how we are going to set up our courses so the student experience is the same, moving from course to course. Has nothing to do with the content, but rather just the design of the course. The next video is objective alignment, because we want to make sure all the course coordinators are adding instructional items and assessment items that reflect back to the state standards or objective. So watch this one or review. The next item is just a short course coordinator agreement. It's basically saying that you're aware of the policies and the goals that are held within those videos, and that you understand you are going to manage the course and complete the Master Shell readiness form. So once you finish this short quiz, you'll click here to launch it when you get to this point. The very last thing you will do is complete the Master Shell readiness form.
The Master Shell Readiness Form is updated each semester to reflect new college policies or standards that need to be added to your shells, and as a general checklist to get your shells ready for copy. Make sure you stick within the guidelines that I will send, and I usually send them quite early to give you 3 or 4 months before a break to work on this, so make sure you schedule that time so you can enjoy your full breaks. Once you open the form, you will have a place to put your name. Be sure to do this first and last name so I can contact you with any questions. And then the second question is probably the most important for me as I go forth copying your master into the CRNs. This is where you're going to want to be specific for me. I have many programs that are using more than one master. For instance, they might have an 8-week master or an online master along with their regular master. By filling this out in detail, I can make sure I'm copying the right content to the right course. Also, if you think your department would benefit with more than one master, say an abbreviated 8-week master or an online versus regular classroom master, then contact me at hsanders@atlantatech.edu and let me know how I can help your department. But here again, the more I help and the more masters I make, the more specific I need you to be on this question to help me copy the classes correctly. And then you'll just continue to go through all of the questions that are going to prompt you to add something or change something as needed. For instance, this version of the Master Shell Readiness Form is telling you to add the college syllabus and addendum, which in this semester happens to be brand new. So without completing this, we can't guarantee that they've been added correctly. So one of the reasons why this is an important form for more than just me copying the courses. There's things that need to be added and adjusted regularly, and this is how we'll communicate with that. So you just go through and you'll see there's videos associated to help you and different things that it prompts you to do until finally you're ready to submit. Now, this is important. When you hit submit, it's going to be sent to me, and I will copy this master into this term CRNs really quickly, as soon as time allows. So do not submit this unless you're ready for course copy. And at that point, you will receive an email from me saying that the course has, the CRN courses have their content, and asking you to reach out to the instructors. This is where the communication gets really big. Because the only way this is going to work, because each semester we offer over 800 courses, and hopefully that will continue to grow. So I can't keep up with each course individually, so we all need to work together. So communication standards, make sure you are telling me what you need as far as your masters, and any questions you may have in completing this form. And also, once they're copied, it is your responsibility as the lead instructor to let the other instructors know that their content is in there and they can start working on their course CRNs. One of the major goals of this process is allowing the lead instructor time to work on the master shell if he or she needs it. For instance, if the deadline for submission is in December 20th, we'll say, then the lead instructor can work all the way up to December 20th, and then the courses will be copied. But if there's not many changes, or you're able to work on it earlier and submit the form by November 1st, then the instructors can get their content much earlier to start working on and preparing for the next semester. The whole goal of this is flexibility to work on the master as long as you need to, or as short as required, so your instructors can get the content quickly. But it's really important that you communicate with instructors both when the content is ready about any content changes that are necessary that they'd like for you to make in the master, and that you stay in touch with the program coordinator to let them know what your needs are so we can all start working together. This is all based in teamwork, and I want to be able to help you with that process as much as possible. So make sure you're communicating with me, all of your needs, and we will get these classes built successfully and continue moving our instructional formats forward and helping the students. Thank you again for your attention and your help with this, and thank you for everything you do for your students.